Hey guys, welcome to this Warcraft replay. This is going to be the first of a best of 3 here on the map Last Refuge. Let's switch over to the observer view as, yeah, we won't have any of that annoying waypoint setting and all that APM spamming that strategy players tend to do, or at least the pro players do. And then of course the others that wanna, I guess, try to emulate that kind of aspect. Anyway, human mirror on the map Last Refuge. We have Yumiko spawning in as the grey human player in the bottom left. He will be facing off against FQQ, the orange human player in the top right. So far, so similar, I would say. We are actually missing a barracks for FQQ. It might actually end up in a weird variation here. I'm trying to remember what a delayed barracks actually indicates. I remember like sometimes in the past we will have like barracks just foregone until later on. I just can't remember the reasoning behind that. So we shall see what FQQ will, plan on. But he is going to go for the Archmage first. Yumiko will also follow suit as well. But the difference is he will have footmen rather than like FQQ, who will have an Archmage by himself. Might indicate like absolutely no creeping and just, I guess, harassment all the way. We shall see. The Archmage is out and we still have yet to see anything being built aside from the arcane tower. Okay, so I mean, I would say the player with the most variety is indeed FQQ. He has done very different things between his series. So yeah, I'm not sure if that's a good thing because they're not necessarily long games, so we don't see how FQQ actually bring it out to viability standards. Quick tier 2 for FQQ. He will probably just be going for a very early double sanctum, or maybe double racks into rifleman. That wouldn't make sense since he doesn't have a racks to begin with. Lumber mill placed down. I still have yet to comprehend this kind of build. It might be Griffin Aviaries here. Blacksmith's gonna be placed down. Workshops maybe. It's weird. Meanwhile, Yumiko is going for tier 2 as well. I think he is worried about FQQ's build path. So oh, we have a barracks number 1 being placed down there. So it looks very much like rifleman, but we will still wait and see. Double racks might not be the case since he doesn't have a second expand to actually use that those resources for, or yeah, whatever. Let's see how this will turn out to be, because the barracks, well, is now halted and Yumiko appears like he wants it to keep it that way. Arcane Towers is not really the best to counteract those footmen, and well, FQQ's Archmage is out in the wilderness. He is going to TP staff back home. Maybe not. He's just going to go the long distance. The barracks will be cancelled, and this does seem like something FQQ would do. Horribly fall behind in the early game and probably not be able to catch up later on, and yeah, then it just becomes a very questionable and theoretic game right now. So far so good for Yumiko. I mean, FQQ did seem like he wanted to go rifleman with the blacksmith and the barracks. He would, and now that his barracks and blacksmith is taken out, well, that's not going to be the case. FQQ just going to rely on a Nagasiwich to fill in the void. Nagasiwich will be pretty good at picking off footmen. I'm not sure about the Archmage himself. He does have boots of speed, so even if he gets like frost arrowed to death, he'll be faster than the footman. Alright, FQQ. He has quite a bit of gold and lumber in his storage. Very curious to see what he's going to use that on now. If he's going to maybe go for a new build path, or will he just go back to his original. He is going to go straight into Castle Tech. Yumiko already in Castle Tech as well. So essentially, like, both players are very similar, except I would say Yumiko is far ahead in terms of like an actual army, I guess. Then again, not many footmen left for Yumiko. Level 2 for the Archmage. The Mountain King will be coming out very soon as well, so the Nagasiwich should be careful about that. She does have boots of speed, just in case, but you know, it's always a possibility. So Castle Tech, Blacksmith being placed down for Yumiko, Barracks and Blacksmith being placed down for FQQ. I still don't see the purpose of the Barracks unless he is going for Knights. Then that would be a very, very weird build path, because I never would have imagined rushing Knights would have been such a priority. TP Scroll will be used by the Nagasiwich, taking along the Archmage as well. Okay, so Knights it is going to be. Yep, I didn't see the Knights honestly, because I honestly thought FQQ would stay in tier 2. But if he goes tier 3, then Knights do actually make sense. I would say Sorcerers are going to be a pretty good deterrent against Knights though, because Knights are basically Orc unit equivalent. They're like, you know, high cost and get really punished by slows. So let's see how that will turn out to be, as Yumiko is going for an Arcane Sanctum. And workshops as well. Double workshops. This looks dangerously like maybe siege tank transition here, but we shall see. Nagasiwich Ice gets taken down. I do apologize for not seeing that. Whoopsies. But she was very low. You can very much easily imagine how she did get taken out. TP staff will be used, but FQQ will lose himself as Archmage. I think Yumiko might be going for mortar teams just in case to deal with those Knights, but we shall see. The siege tanks is definitely siege tanks are definitely a possibility. +1 attack upgrades is on the way for FQQ, but he should make some Knights first, because our upgrades are not as effective as one may think in Warcraft 3. The militia are going to get a really nice bit of damage down on the Mountain King, but sadly he does have a TP scroll to get out. Nagasiwich will be spawning back. I believe she is trapped, maybe? No, I think she can go fit through there, that little gap. Okay, Knights are coming out for FQQ. Yumiko, on the other hand, I need to see what he's actually producing off of these workshops. It is going to be siege engines. Oh, great. Priests and siege engines. Priests just there to sustain the heroes and whatever, you know, other units that Yumiko has. And the tanks, well, I think it's pretty hard to deal with tanks without any mortar teams. Knights without animal war training are still not as great against siege tanks. FQQ also facing a bit of a supply problem. He is actually training up a paladin. If he was aware that tanks were coming along, then Blood Mage may have been a better choice because of Flame Strike, but yeah, he doesn't have any scouting down, so he has no idea that Yumiko is going for his rather I don't know if it's infamous I guess it is Infamous. Infamous Siege Tank. Basically, Yumiko just goes Siege Tank if he faces an impenetrable defense, or if he's just too lazy. I think he is just too lazy in this circumstance, so he's just gonna Siege Engines. Goblin Shredder is out. Will be fairly useful against those Siege Engines. FQQ. It would be really great if he managed to path these Siege Engines, you know, effectively, and he does seem to be doing that. Yumiko actually choosing to withdraw, and it seems like Yumiko, is he gonna go for an expand? He has so much map pressure that I think he can afford to do so, even in his opponent's like natural expansion. Knights will be dealing with that Siege Engine that was unfortunately ensnared by those trappers there. Oh, it is going to be sanctuaried out by Yumiko's Archmage, so yep, an expensive unit like that will just heal back up to full and return back to duty. Alright, Sorceresses are out as well for Yumiko, so like I said, they're really good against those bulky Knights. And of course, Yumiko getting his own Knights out into the battlefield as well. Why not? The best counter to something is always itself, I would say. Unless they're like destroyers, which then destroyers can't actually counter destroyers. Alright, level 2 Paladin, level 2 Mountain King, level 3 Archmage. I would say there is a clear hero advantage here. FQQ is lacking in a level 2 Paladin, but other than that, he is also lacking a level 3 Archmage as well. Stormbolt to the Pally. He did train up Holy Light, so he doesn't have any Divine Shield to actually keep himself safe. He will be able to Holy Light the Naga Sea Witch, but, you know, it's only level 1 Holy Light. Staff Sanctuary will be used to keep the Naga Sea Witch safe. No Animal Wall training just yet for either of these two sides here, so the Knights aren't actually at like 1000 health. And I think Animal Wall training also increases damage and defense. Arcane Sanctum for FQQ, but I think it's a little bit too late. The Siege Engines have gathered up now, and Siege Engines are very much the minimum in the numbers of 2, I think, to be really effective. Alright, Militia being pulled out here. FQQ will be losing himself the Naga Sea Witch. And it seems like it is going to be GG for FQQ here. A rather interesting game, I would say. Both players actually rushing tier 3 and going Knights. Definitely a different flavor than the normal human mirror. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this one. I will see you guys again in game 2. Take care.